So reviewing linear equations, inequalities, and systems, we should, on steps for solving equations, first simplify both sides of the equal sign. That means no parentheses and all like terms are combined. Get the variables on the same side. Hint, move the smaller variable. And then solve for the variable. Undo addition and subtraction first, and then undo multiplication and division second is generally what we do. And then always the fourth possibility is check our answer. So pause the video, take a moment, make sure you've got all this down, and then we'll go into our examples. Okay, unpausing the video. Here we've got our first couple, and we are solving these. First step is to simplify both sides. On the left here, we can combine the 17 and the 2, so that gets us 19 plus 4h equals 1 minus 5h. Simplified both sides. Now we move the smaller variable. That would be negative 5h. So we are going to add 5h to both sides. Notice I'm lining that up underneath the like term. That leaves us with 19 plus 9h equals 1. And then solve. So we need to move the 19 to the other side, so it's a positive. We subtract it from both sides. That leaves us with 9h equals 1 minus 19. Well, that's going to be negative 18. Then we divide both sides by 9, and that gets us h is negative 2. And we can check that by plugging in negative 2 here. 4 times negative 2 happens to be negative 8. 19 plus negative 8 is 11, so the left side is 11. 1, well, let's see, 5 times negative 2 for the right, that would be 1 minus a negative 10, and that right-hand side, we can change that to add the opposite, and that right-hand side gets to be 11, so it does work. Okay. Now, second, pause the video, make sure you've got that, and then we'll move on to the next one. Okay, on the second one, we've got some parentheses, so I'm just going to write off to the side here. We got 4 times 3 plus c. That gets us 12 and positive 4c, so we can write that as 12 plus 4c plus c equals c plus 4. Combine like terms, that gets us 12 plus 5c equals c plus 4. Move the c that is smaller, that would be the 1c. Now that gets us 12 plus 4c equals 4. Subtract off the 12 from both sides. Gets us 4c equals negative 8. Divide both by 4, and that ends up giving us c. Oops, I did not want that color. That gives us c equals negative 2. Again, we can check here. I'm just going to run through it mentally. 3 plus negative 2 is 1 times 4 is 4. 4 plus negative 2 is 2. And then on the right side, negative 2 plus 4 is 2. So left side equals right. So pause, make sure you've got this. And one thing that is also helpful is to possibly circle what your answers are, as well as showing your work. And when you're ready, unpause the video to go on to the next two. unpausing the video, we're going to go ahead and take care of the one on the left. We've got, let's see, we've got, excuse me, an equation, and we've got 4 possible answers that x could be. I'll just start plugging it in. So I'm going to start with the 12 times something over 2. And let's just plug in the -3 there first. What does that give us? Well, 12 times -3 is -36. -36 minus 2 is -38 over 2. That's an 8, which is always the hard one to write. And then, let's see if I can get that erased. There we go. So we've got -38. -38 divided by 2 is a negative, not a positive. So this is a no. And now I'm going to repeat it, and I'm going to plug in the 1. See if I can get it. If I plug in the 1, so I'm going to erase that there and put a 1. That's going to change it. Instead of -36, that's going to be 12. 12 take away 2 is 10. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So when we plugged in the -3, that would have gotten us -19, which is a no. And now we just plugged in the 1, and that's going to get us a 5, which is also a no, because we're looking for it to be 17. Okay. So now I'm going to do it again. This time I'm plugging in the 3. That gets us 36 minus 2 is 34. 34 divided by 2 is 17. That one works. That's our yes. Okay. We can, of course, check the last one. If we plug in 2, that's going to get us 24 minus 2, which is 22 over 2, which is 11. And that's also a no. Now, on the last one that we've got here, it's an inequality instead of an equation. We deal with it the same way. We first simplify. So we have 3 times 4 plus y. That gets us 12 and 3y. So we have 12 plus 3y minus y greater than y minus 4. Continue simplifying. That left-hand side is going to get us 12 plus 2y. Greater than y minus 4. The smaller y is 1y, so we subtract that from both sides. That gets us 12 plus y is greater than -4. Subtract off the 12 from both sides. And we have our end answer, y is greater than -16. So take a moment, make sure you've got all of this down, and then we're going to turn it over and do the solving a system by graphing. Now unpause the video, we're going to fill in the information. First off, we get all the equations in y equals mx plus b form, and then graph both equations. For the first equation, plot the y-intercept and use the slope to get more points. For the second equation, we plot the y-intercept and use the slope to get more points. If it's going to be one solution, it's going to look where you intersect at one point. No solution, they're going to be parallel. Okay, they never intersect. An infinite solution happens to be one line right on top of the other, just like I did there with the 2 colors. So go ahead and pause, make sure you've got all this down, and then we'll go on to the next page, or bottom of the page, and actually solving. Okay, so solving. What we've got here is got this equation over here. I've got this equation over here. We're first going to get them in y equals. So first off, we need to move the x to the other side. That gets us 2y equals 2x minus 4. And we divide everybody by 2. That leaves us with y equals 1x minus 2. Might as well do that on this other side over here, so I'm going to be subtracting 3x from both sides. That leaves us with 3y equals negative 3x minus 18. Divide everybody by 3. And we are left with y equals negative 1x minus 6. Now, y-intercept for both. Over here on this side, it's negative 2. On this side, it's negative 6. And then our slope. On the left equation, we've got a 1, so that's 1 over 1, or I could write that as a negative 1 over negative 1. Both are the same. On the right, our slope is negative 1 over 1, which I could also have that as 1 over negative 1. So the one on the left, let's plot that at 0, negative 2. Would be right here. And actually, you know what? I'm going to use the highlighter for it because you'll be able to see that a little bit better. And then we go up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. I can also go up 2, right 2, just to get it to go across the page a little bit faster. Same thing with down 2, left 2. So that would be our equation. On the other one, we're plotting at negative 6, which would be right there. And it's a down 1, right 1, or I could go down 2, right 2, or up 2, left 2. And draw my line through it. That was pretty close. I was a little off as I was drawing that. Let's see if I can fix that a little bit. That's a little bit better. And then we have one point that they intersect at, and we write that. One solution. And that point that it is the solution at is negative 2, negative 4. Okay, go ahead and make sure you've got all of that, and then we'll go ahead and take our test.